Hey there, my name is Scott Talley. I am the broker of Five Market Realty here in Athens, Georgia. And what we're doing here is a series of general overview videos of different parts of town. There's five major parts of Clark County, which is why our name is Five Market. This is one of them, East Athens. Then we have five counties that surround Athens, making up our greater area. But we've talked about a few already. This is East Athens. And this particular photo is of the State Botanical Gardens entrance, which is a very nice area that is just over into East Athens. So the State Botanical Gardens is located on South Millage as you go away from Five Points in the opposite direction of Normal Town and downtown. So this part of town has a lot to offer, and it's really popular in a totally different part of town to itself. And we want to kind of break out why East Athens is popular, what it offers, and what are the differences between this and some of the other areas of town. Let's take a look at the map and sort of get started here. I'm going to try to leave my head down. As you look above my head on the screen, there's a circle of College Station Road. Well, for most people, that's sort of where you're going out to the east side. The real natural barrier of the east side is this river right here that you see running, the North Oconee River. Once you cross that, you generally are on the east side. But for others, it might be the loop, as you can see right here, Loop 78. The other side of this corner of College Station is the south end of UGA's main campus. So that's a big deal because it's still pretty close to campus. And let's follow College Station Road all the way down. Where does that lead us to? Well, it leads us to the UGA Vet School. So a big part of the east side as you enter it is actually sandwiched in between the main campus of UGA and the UGA Vet School. This other circle here represents a place called University Heights, built in the 50s, 60s, sometimes the 70s. It's an older neighborhood with a lot of split levels and ranch, but it's really close in and you can spend a lot less money to not be far from campus. It's one of the appeals of the east side is you might get a little more bang for your buck on the side of town. Couple other popular neighborhoods as College Station hits Barnett Shoals, Gaines School Road. Those are two of the bigger names you're going to hear when you think about the east side of town. Also, Barnett Shoals is one of these roads that kind of turns and goes several ways. As you can see here, Barnett Shoals then makes a right-hand turn, then it makes a hard left-hand turn. Gaines School Road continues this way. Some other great neighborhoods, you're going to think of Green Acres, and you're going to think of Cedar Creek. You're going to think of Falling Shoals. You're going to think of Old Lexington Estates. You might think of condos. If you look at these two areas here that I've circled, there are a lot of condos in East Athens, and that provides opportunities for UGA parents, first-time home buyers, investors. There's been a lot of purchases of condos in and around the East Athens area. So let's get a look and kind of see what attracts people to the area here. What attracts homeowners to East Athens? Well, what I just mentioned was more bang for your buck. You can generally get more house on the east side of town than you can in 5 Points in Normal Town. Now, values have been going up. It's 2022, and there's been a lot of appreciation on the east side, but relatively, it still trends at a lower price point than some of the other areas, while still being relatively close in. It's close to UGA's campus, as I just mentioned. You have the same amenities for shopping as you do in other areas, so it's just another part of town. Elementary schools, Whit Davis comes to mind. That's a very popular one. And the UGA Vet School. That's brought a lot of graduate students out to that area of town. There's people that work there, and the lots can be a little bit bigger. It's a little closer to a more rural setting. So while you're in Clark County, you can actually find some area where you might have a little bit of land that is more possible on the east side of town that's almost impossible when you get into Normal Town, downtown, 5 Points. And then lastly, I did mention a lot of condos available, and that makes there a lot of housing options, a lot of rental properties, nicer homes, somewhere in the middle. It really runs the gambit on the east side of town. Restaurants, bars, and more. I often mention this as just kind of the things that you might want to know about or take a look at when you come into town. The background shot here is of Falling Shoals. That is a swim tennis neighborhood. It's one of the few we actually have inside of Clark County. Very popular. Price points right now in the 400s in Falling Shoals. Lots of craftsman-style homes. But what I mentioned here is that on the east side of town, you really have everything you have in the other parts of town. It's just the east side version. So you have Publix, Kroger, Aldi, all the other numerous like brands that you know you need to go shopping for on that side of town. Another part that's a little further out on the east side is Winterville. It's its own little community that is a great part of town. We're going to have more information on. That's technically East Athens. You have the same local brands, De Palma's Cafe, Locos, Blind Pig Tavern, Jittery Joe's, as we've mentioned before. They all have east side locations. So you're not giving up as much just to be that much further from campus. And I can't stress enough, you're right on top of campus. The North Oconee River is also a big driver. As I mentioned, that is a border. You know, there's a river walk there. There's a lot of people that like to put a kayak in on this part of town. And there's some really nice neighborhoods that might have a view of the river on this part of town. There's a butcher shop that's popular now. It's close to downtown still close to campus, 5 Points and the Loop. Lastly, we're going to talk about some of the restaurants, as I always like to do. I'm a big supporter over here of other businesses. So anything on the east side of town you need to check out is Mama's Boy. There's a couple locations now. Mama's Boy is almost in downtown Athens, but technically it's just over the river up street. De Palma's Italian Cafe has a west side location, an east side location, and downtown. Callie and Tito's is great food. I recommend the Cuban sandwich. Siri Thai, another great Thai joint, and NoCo Express has been around for 20 plus years. I mentioned the Aldi supermarket in the last one. Taco Stand is an Athens stalwart. It's been around forever. Blind Pig Tavern is another example of a local brand. Mama Sid's Pizza. And Peppino's is actually basically just Little Italy's, but on the east side of town. Lastly, La Fiesta. The east side is great. It is definitely a part of town that you should consider, especially if you're looking for a little bit more house to spend less money, or maybe just feeling a little bit more spread out. Lastly, as I always like to end these videos, this is our group here at Five Market. We sell in Clark County, Oconee, Jackson, all around the areas. So reach out to anybody here, see if we can help you or answer any questions you might have about Athens, Georgia. Have a great day.